Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and we are playing Budget Tron once again. And what do I think of this opening hand? I think we have four cards that we are not going to play for the first few turns, and not enough stuff to get us to Tron. This, on the other hand, is playable. Obviously, we don't have any way of fetching up stuff, but we may have something on the top of our library. So let's keep this. We are also playing second. You can go on the bottom. You are definitely not staying on top. We're also playing second, so we have that to think about as well. So we'll actually have an additional draw over top of our opponent, and we will see how it works out for us. We have a Chromatic Star. At least we're going to draw some stuff. So let's play a mine in case our opponent decides to destroy this right away. And play a star, and we will ship it back to our opponent, which is playing blue something or other. Ghost Quarters, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he decides to blow up this mine. Because we have a second one in our hand right here, and we can actually grab green mana. Will our opponent do anything? What does our opponent think? No, we do have a Perilous Vault. Perilous Vault. Not Priolous, Perilous Vault. I'm just going to keep doing that until you guys realize that I made my mistakes. It is our turn. What do we think we do? What do we think we do? We are going to crack our star. 4 green. Right away. Draw an additional card from that. Hopefully drawing something like Sylvan Scrying is definitely a card we would want to be drawing. So let's play our Urza's Tower. And we will actually go and grab, right now, our last piece of Tron. So then hopefully if our opponent doesn't Ghost Quarter... Okay, our opponent is Ghost Quartering our mine, which is fantastic. Our opponent should be Ghost Quartering towers. Remember, if you're playing against Tron, Ghost Quarter towers unless they have 2 towers in play. Because right now we're going to just play a second mine next turn. Well, maybe not next turn, but soon. Yes, I do want to go and draw something. I will grab a forest because that'll make our life a lot easier as we draw green cards. Grabbing a power plant. Okay, and we've already played our land for the turn, so we will ship it to our opponent, who has misplayed. Again, if you see just a tower and something else, always get the tower. It produces 3 mana, so it's way better. Obviously, you need all 3 of them, and they play another Ghost Quarters. Ghost Quarter. Well, that is annoying for us. So, let's go ahead and play our power plant. And let's... What do we think here? Our opponent's going to destroy one of these guys right now. So let's actually go ahead and play our Chromatic Sphere. Let's just kind of get some preemptive stuff on the table. So our opponent is going to mana leak it. Okay, well, that's okay. And we'll play on Ancient Stirrings, not Ancestral Stirrings, Ancient Stirrings. And what do we think? We have an extra mine, an extra power plant, or an expedition map. If we grab an expedition map, we can actually fetch up whatever he's about to destroy. Obviously, these would be awesome, but I know because he has another Ghost Quarter, he is probably going to blow up one of our Tron pieces. So we will be a little bit preemptive on that front. A little bit prepared, I should say, maybe is the right word for that. So throw down our expedition map, and we will ship the turn to our opponent. And again, I'm assuming either, maybe not this turn because he only has 2 lands. I'm assuming he's not going to have a 3rd land in his hand because that would be 4 lands he had in his hand or he's drawn. So I'm assuming as soon as we get Tron, he's probably going to blow up Tron. No, he's going to blow it up now. So he's going to blow up our tower, which is fine. Just fine. That's a better call. Yes, I will go fetch up a land. We will fetch up... we'll fetch up another forest. And our opponent will ship it to us. I don't think our opponent realizes that we actually have the answer right now. And we have an Explorer, which is even more of an answer. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to cast anything big this turn. So why don't we try going this way? So we will go explore. Fingers crossed. No. Nope. Which is fine. We will... Oops. I'm going to do my exploration map. And we will then go and fetch up the missing tower we have. So again, this is a perfect example of like how resilient this deck can be. And we have 3 mana, which we can cast a sphere, I guess. I was really hoping to get Perilous Vault. Perilous Vault onto the table rather than Chromatic Sphere. But you can't always get what you want. I believe there's... Yeah, I know I have mana in my mana pool. And we will ship it to our opponent's turn. So yeah, so this deck, I mean, has the... At moments like right now, it's super resilient, right? Our opponent has blown up 2 lands. 2 of our combo pieces, and we've just kind of went and grabbed more and more and more. So, looks like our opponent is just going to ship it back to us, which is going to give them not a very fun day. So we're going to play Bane of Bala Ged, which may just make our opponent scoop straight away, because unless they can deal with it, which we'll find out, they may... Oh, they let it resolve. That is not going to be very good for them. So we will play our Chromatic Sphere, which our opponent is going to Vapor Snag our Bane of Bala Ged. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'm fine with that. And I think that's going to be it. Did we play a land this turn? We did not play a land this turn. So we can actually... We might as well crack one of these guys. We don't need the mana from these. We don't need the mana fixing right now. Yeah, let's just go this way as well. We have floating mana in our mana pool. We'll just again draw an extra card. And we will ship it to our opponent's turn. Yes, we have mana in our mana pool. That's fine. If our opponent blows up one of these, we're going to have Sylvan Scrying to replace it. Obviously, I wish one of these 2 cards was a land, so we could have played it. And our opponent realizes he has no answer if we replay our Bane of Bala Ged. So we're going to go to Sideboard. And what are we going to put in? So our opponent is playing a control deck, which means they probably don't have a lot in the way of creatures, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have a bunch of stuff in the way of artifacts. I don't have anything to support this claim, to be honest, but we're going to do it anyways, because I think it's actually going to be a better bet. World Breaker can stay in, Battlesphere, we can take out 1 Battlesphere. You know what, I'm actually only going to put in 2 Nature's Claims as a backup, and we're only going to take out a single Explorer and a single Battlesphere. So basically we're running the same deck as last time. We didn't make very many changes. This, on the other hand, is actually keepable. Obviously, we don't have any big fetch stuff in our hand, but we are going to be able to get some fast mana on the table. And depending on what our opponent plays, will depend on what we do. Is our turn now? Our turn. We draw a Bane of Bala Ged as well. That's neat. Let's play Urza's Mine. We could. We'll ship it to our opponent. We could, in theory, have played a Forest, but I would rather run the possibility of drawing into our last Urza Tron piece and having Tron on turn 3 just by playing lands one after another, versus having a little bit of attack strategy right away. Also, our opponent just played a Ghost Quarter, so he could, in theory, blow up this guy right now, or pretty soon. We'll find out. We draw another mine. So if we play a tower, which we'll do... we could have played an Explorer. Dang it. That's my bad. Oh well. Oh well. Sometimes you misplay. I should have played the Forest and then Explorer to play an additional land. So I'd have 3 lands this turn rather than only 2. That's my bad. Completely my bad. I realize that is a misplay. That's how we learn, right? This is how we learn, by making misplays and then realizing them as we make them. And at this point, our opponent is probably... So he's either sitting on a Mana Leak or he's sitting on a Dispel. So if we play Nature's Claim, obviously we don't have any targets, he'll just counter it. If we play Explore, he'll probably Mana Leak it. So I think what we'll do is we are going to... If we play Explore, we're obviously not going to be able to pay for it, but we'll try and fetch one of his counterspells out of his hand right now. Or he'll play... Hold on, with converted mana cost X or less, so it can't even target. Can it target Explore? No. Because it's converted mana cost X or less, right? Enters the battlefield, counter target spell with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of fairies you control. He does not control 2 fairies. So I think that was a misplay on his part. Yeah, it was a misplay on his part. Straight up. What do we think? I think we're going to play a second mine, and pass it to our opponent and see how that works out. So we're sitting on 4 lands. We need 2 more lands to start getting any of these guys down, which we have them in our hand. I have a hunch that we are going to be playing these guys without Tron. He has 2 Ghost Quarters, and we don't have enough stuff to get Resilient. And he plays a second Fairy, and this is whenever a Fairy enters the battlefield. Oh, when you return another creature to your hand. So he's probably going to return this guy to his hand, I'd assume. That'd be my guess. Yeah, of course. So now he has 2 Fairies. He can actually start countering spells that are 2 or more, which is actually going to be a little bit of a pain in our butt. So there we go. Ghost Quarter, and we will draw up a land. Fetch up a land, I should say. Might as well get more forests. We don't have... I didn't realize he actually was running a bunch of fairies in this deck. I wonder if this is like a blue fairy control deck, actually. It's completely possible. And... Chromatic Sphere. So, here's the big question. If we play Chromatic Sphere, we may be able to fetch that fairy out of his hand. So, let's try. So, does our opponent take the bait and counter this? Looks like the answer is yes. Sure does. Okay, totally fine by me. I am okay with that. Mostly because I just want our opponent basically to be burning up their mana and not focusing on what may actually be happening, which will be coming next turn. Our opponent's turn, he has 2 flying creatures. He can be doing 3 damage a turn, but starting next turn we are probably going to play Myr Battlesphere because he's going to have a way harder time dealing with 5 creatures versus dealing with 1. No way of us blocking that, so might as well go to the end step. And our opponent doesn't play anything, so here is our master plan. Waiting for our opponent to do something on our upkeep. What is he doing? Tap all lands target player controls. Okay, well that's definitely going to be a thing for us. So we're going to slow us down by 1 turn, I guess. Which is fine. It's fine. He's not going to be getting enough damage really to affect us too much. And we will play our forest, and obviously we have nothing to Nature's Claim. I thought he would actually have sideboarded in some kind of hate. I mean, any control deck should be running something against at least Tron. Apparently that is not the case. Obviously we're just going to ship it to our opponent's turn. He's going to swing in for a little bit of damage. And then unless he has another one of these guys, we are going to do some serious damage to him starting right away. Again, the big plan here being we're going to play Myr Battlesphere and just get a bunch of bodies on the table, which he just is going to have a hard time dealing with. Or we'll play World Breaker, targeting his Ghost Quarter if he's tapped out. Bane of Bala Ged is also a very good option because it'll make him start exiling permanents. So all 3 of these are actually really good options. So it's actually kind of hard. I mean, which one should I play? Which one should I play? Okay. If we play World Breaker and exile his Ghost Quarter, he will just crack it, sack it, and get rid of one of our lands. If we play Myr Battlesphere, on the other hand... Actually, you know what? We're going to play Bane of Bala Ged. I think that's going to be a better option because it's going to drain him of all of his mana or creatures. And... hold on, am I short a land? Cancel. I am short a land, guys. Did you notice that? I totally didn't realize that until just now. Well, that is very, very problematic for us. Okay, so we'll play Explore. See if our opponent has a response to that. He may remand it. Okay, well, that's fine. We will then play Explore again. This time using colorless mana, just to be safe. And will he counter it this time? What is he going to do? Mana Leak it, which is also annoying. At least we're drawing a bunch of stuff out of his hand. And I guess we'll play Terrarion. I thought we actually had 7 mana on the table. And here I've been making this master plan, assuming that we have 7 mana, where we do not actually have 7 mana. We may lose this match simply because of that, actually. I was kind of relying on having that 1 mana. I think also what we're going to do when we go back to sideboard, if we lose this match, is we are going to take out Nature's Claim. I don't think we need it. We're going to put in Pyroclasms, because we could just Pyroclasm a bunch of his little pesky fairies. This, I will say, is definitely like a rogue deck build. This is not... We are not playing against something that is in the top 8 meta right now. It is interesting, but it is not in the top 8 meta, which is not terrible either. So he plays another Mistbound, whatchamacallit, Fairy. I'm probably going to champion this guy, I'd assume? Yeah. Which is fine, which is fine. Which means we need to actually have an answer this turn, which means we... What do we need? What can we pull? If we... Oh. Well, that is going to be this match. We might as well concede, because we have no way of stopping our opponent dealing 8 damage to us next turn. Go to Game 3! Okay, so we have learned that Nature's Claim is absolutely useless. I am amazed, though, that his deck doesn't have some kind of control against our deck. That was actually very surprising to me. On the flip side, though, putting in a bunch of Pyroclasms is a fantastic idea. We need to find 2 things to get rid of. I think Perilous Vault may not actually be very good in this matchup. Actually, no, we want to keep it because it's the only way of dealing with bigger creatures. Myr Battlesphere has come out. Bane of Bala Ged is very good in this matchup. Worldbreaker is pretty good in this matchup as well. Hellkite is definitely what we want to keep in. We will pull out a single ancestral, single ancient stirrings, and I think we're actually going to pull out a single Terrarion as well. We're going to go for the little bit slower in exchange for some damage. We will play first, and we are going to see how this plays out for us. I think this is going to be a close match for us unless we have an amazing opening hand, which it looks like we do have an amazing opening hand. So we will keep this. And we don't have a first turn play, which is fine. But we can definitely... We have a very good second turn play. So yeah, let's just tower. Pass to our opponent's turn. So turn 2, we can play Forest, Explore, Mine, giving us 3 mana. Or we could do Forest, Sylvan Scrying, get our final piece, and then next turn we can actually use Explore and Mine. One of the two. Our 2 options. And we have a Pyroclasm. Neat. We don't have any way of casting that yet, so I think what we're going to do is we are going to go the... Having 3 open mana on turn 2 is not a terrible idea. But having all of Tron on turn... I guess either way it's actually going to be relatively equal. So we will Sylvan Scrying, digging up... Actually, maybe we should have went the other way around, because if he has a Ghost Quarter, he may just blow up one of our guys. One of our Urza lands. Power Plant. We want Power Plant, which would be a lot... Yeah, maybe going Explore might have been a better bet, just in case he does blow up something, which is completely possible. It would give us a tad bit more resilience versus a tad bit more speed, I feel like. Because I think this way we're going to have an extra couple land open versus... Does our opponent not have a second land? Oh, he has an island. No Ghost Quarter though, so that is good. And we have a way of casting our Pyroclasm now. So let's do Power Plant. Preemptively tapping those lands for no real good reason. Oh, he's gonna Mana Leak Explore though. Or Remand it. That's just equally as painful for us. Well, not equally as painful. But we can always cast our Chromatic Sphere. No fear there. And it is our opponent's turn. We'll ship it over to him. And we'll see what he comes up with. Our opponent plays another island. So our opponent has a lot of land this turn versus the last couple games where they've been getting a lot of Ghost Quarter and just blowing our stuff up. Looks like our opponent is just shipping it back to us though. So it is going to be our turn. And we can... Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? Pestermite. You may tap or untap target permanent. So he's going to tap one of our... Probably one of our Urza lands. Or tap that. That is totally okay with me. I can see why he did that. I mean, if he was thinking, hey, he has a Pyroclasm or some way of dealing or casting board wipe, then I can see why he would do that. I don't think it's actually the best choice for him because we are about to play Bane of Bala Ged and make our opponent have just like the worst day possible. Maybe not the worst day possible. I mean, he can always Vapor Snare, Vapor Snag, Vapor Snare, Vapor. You know what card I'm talking about. He used it on me last turn. I think he's actually playing a budget deck. Actually, minus Remand. Remand is, I think, like a $5 card. But I'm pretty sure our opponent's actually playing some kind of budget deck. Oh, actually I have Ancient Stirring, so I can actually cast that this turn. There's no reason not to. We will fetch up. Oh, well, not necessarily fetch, but we will look for something that will come in very handy. So we can either get another piece of the puzzle, or we can get something to give us redundancy. I think we are actually going to take the mine. Put these on the bottom of the library in whatever order. Nothing too special here. And we will pass it to our opponent's turn. And what is our opponent going to do in response? He could blow up something. So that makes me... I should have probably grabbed the exploration map. Just because I know that he has Ghost Quarters. He's probably running a playset of them, largely for decks like this. Or because he's going to Spreading Seas one of my Urza's mines, which is not that bad because I have another Urza's mine right now. So Spreading Seas, if you don't know, is a fantastic budget blue card. It turns any non-basic land into... or is any land, I think it is. Yeah, it turns any land into an island. So basically, I no longer have Tron anymore. And then also, when you cast it, you draw a card. So it's a really good way of, if you're playing mono blue, to deal with, Tron or, a lot of other decks. And our opponent could technically back up some redundancy, yeah, with actually grabbing the power plant or the tower. Again, always go for the tower. Always go for the tower. I can't stress that enough. We're going to grab the mountain this time, because we are going to do 2 damage to Pestermite. And clear the way for us. It's smart of our opponent, very smart of our opponent to actually attack with this guy, because we're not obviously going to block with it, but we are going to destroy it next turn. He may have been thinking, hey, maybe we can keep this open and block with it, chump block, but it is not actually going to be very good for him, so getting in a little bit of damage with it before I kill it off is definitely a better plan. Our turn, main phase, we drew another Bane of Bala Ged, which doesn't really matter that much for us. We are going to Pyroclasm right away here. So might as well go this route. Why not? I don't have any use for an island right now. So Pyroclasm. I don't think our opponent may have a Dispel in their hand, but Pyroclasm is a sorcery, so that doesn't help them very much. And then we are going to go to combat and swing in. And I bet our opponent is about to scoop. No, our opponent's about to Vapor Snag us, which is, good for him. I mean, bravo, good sir. We will play, at this point, we're going to go like this. We're going to crack our sphere for green mana, hopefully draw. We drew Myr Battlesphere, and then we are going to play our Explore. Play Explore. What? No, I was in combat phase. Why am I... Sorry guys, I misplayed that. I didn't realize I was still on beginning combat phase and I was going to play Explore and then hopefully drop another card. Yeah, I know, I have mana in my mana pool. Misplay on my part, well, at least gives our opponent at least another turn. We will play our mine and we will pass the turn to our opponent and we will see what they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need another land and then we can play Hellkite. So our opponent plays another fairy, and it is going to be, I think, our turn now. And this is not the end of the world, right? I mean, sure, we don't have Tron, but as I said in the deck tech video, I built this deck so we don't necessarily need Tron to win the game. So right there we go. We have 6 lands. We are fast enough and aggressive enough that we can, play the creatures we have. We're not running 10 and 12 drop creatures. Main phase, play Hellkite. We're not running 10 and 12 drop creatures, which you see in the other Tron decks, which are a little bit more aggressive because we don't have creatures that basically win us the game when they come into play. We have creatures that have a lot of value and they are very good at what they do, but they're not guaranteeing us winning the game. So again, we're playing a lot of 6 and 7 drop creatures. He may... what is he doing? He is unsummoning it back to our hand. That's neat. So yeah, anyways, our deck is designed to be low to the ground, fast, aggressive, rather than it being, I play a card and I win the game. Which is really what Emrakul and Exploration Map, that's good. Why don't we play that? Yes, I think we will play this. So we'll play Exploration Map. He may have a counter for it. He has 5 cards in hand. He probably has all kinds of answers right now. He doesn't. Very surprising. We will crack that right now and fetch up our power plant. Power plant is what I want for lunch. For dinner. Playing power plant. And we will actually play Myr Battlesphere this time. I know some of you guys have been like, play Myr Battlesphere. I want to see this madness of Myr Battlesphere. So we're doing that right now. And here we go. Myr Battlesphere is coming into play. Our opponent may actually counter this. Yeah. Probably going to remand it? 3 mana. What is that going to be? Flash. Other fairies you control get that. Okay. I don't really see how that helps him at this exact moment. It will allow him to get some extra damage in, but it's not going to help him stop me at all. I would have waited. If I was him, I would have waited and played this at the end of turn. So, anyways, Myr Battlesphere comes into play. We get 4 other Myrs, which is going to be very hard for our opponent to deal with. We're going to pass the turn to our opponent, and we're going to see what they think, what their plan is now. Because if they unsummon, so he plays another one. Okay, well that's a thing. Because if they unsummon, well they obviously can't now. But if they were to pass this back to our hand, we're just going to replay it. So this might have actually been a better bet to play a little bit earlier on instead of Bane of Bala Ged. Obviously, we played Bane of Bala Ged because we were hoping our opponent would, wipe his board really quickly. I don't think our opponent realizes that I think we can win this race if he isn't going to be blocking my stuff. Because obviously we're not using these to block. We're going to be using these to do a ton of damage real fast. And it is our turn again. Beginning combat, we are going to go straight in with Myr Battlesphere. Go to attacks. Myr Battlesphere is going in. And that will trigger his ability. And then use ability. Yes, I do want to use its ability. So its ability is I can tap any number of Myrs that I control. So we're tapping everything. And it gets +X+O, and it deals that much damage to our opponent's face. So our opponent just took 4 damage, and now we're swinging in with an 8/7, which is going to definitely outrace our opponent if he doesn't deal with this immediately. So our opponent obviously can't deal with this. I'm surprised he didn't chump block, though, because he is definitely dead next turn. And just to be safe for us, we are going to play... Let's just tap some of these lands here. We are going to play our Steel Hellkite, so we actually have some flying control against our opponent. Again, our opponent's going to have to find a way of dealing with this, otherwise he's going to die. And what else do I want to do? I could play an Explore, which would draw me a card. Let's do that. Yeah. So Explore, bam, and a bam. We have tons of open mana right now, so we might as well just try and pull up as much stuff as we can. We haven't played... Ooh, Pyroclasm. I want to play Pyroclasm right now. There is no question about that. Obviously, it's going to deal damage to all of my Myrs and kill them, which I am not concerned about because it wipes his entire board. So it is going to be, we're just going to pass it to our opponent, and then we're going to see what he does. I'm going to guess that our opponent is going to scoop. I have spent a lot of time on my turn, by the way. I feel bad for my opponent because of that. And does our opponent have an answer? About to find out. I'm assuming probably not. Oh, opponent passes it back to us. Okay, well. So we can play our power plant, and let's just go to combat and see if our opponent actually has an answer. And what is our opponent doing? He is going to be playing a fairy. Okay, that's fine. So he plays 2 fairies. Okay, well that's a thing. Swing in with both of these guys. And I don't want to use its ability because I don't have any Myrs to tap. So that's fine. And let's see what our opponent do. Our opponent's just going to block, I'm assuming. It's block or die, so... And second main phase, we will play a Terrarion with the blue mana. And we will play, yep, sure. And then we will play a Bane of Bala Ged. I need to learn to play faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will pass it to our opponent and see if they have any answers. Again, our board state is at the point where it is developing beyond control. So our opponent literally needs to take 2 of these guys off the table right now, or get enough stuff to block everything. Our opponent passes the turn, so he may actually have another fairy of some sort. Or he may have a way of bouncing stuff to our hand, so he plays another fairy. And he has to champion a fairy. I don't see how that helps him. Oh, this is the one that taps all lands. That's fine. I don't think that actually is going to affect us at all, because it isn't our lands that are going to win us the game. It is all of our giant creatures. And we will pass it to our opponent's turn because we don't have any lands untapped, but he also is going to have to deal with the madness that is our deck. Anyways, this has been Giant Monster Games. This has been Budget Urza Tron, I should say. You guys got to see some definite action in this deck. We actually had to fight against this Fairy control deck, which was also, it looked like it was a budget deck as well, which is very cool. I mean, it's fun to play budget decks versus budget decks because they tend to be a little bit more well matched up versus budget deck versus top 8 tier decks, which is also fun, but it's also very, very difficult. Anyways, until next time, my name's Adrian, this is Giant Monster Games, subscribe to the channel if you like this content, and don't forget to game like a giant monster!